Hello, hello, hello. Um, on one hand, it's never been better. Mashiach is about to come. The other hand, I think the Chinese curse may live in interesting times has really come about, especially through this virus in China, through nonstop media telling everybody how everything is bad and terrible every second. So, um, the question, of course, is what's the way to change the world? It breaks my heart to see that I think that the reason people are supporting the Meshuggah Bernie, and anybody that doesn't know that socialism, like communism, is the most destructive, evil force in the world. I think Stalin killed more people than Hitler, including three of my great grandparents. So I think that people are just desperate for the solution. And so you get these really what they are, like Obama, they're con men and they're narcissists, and they basically have deep psychological issues, and they like to blame the whole world. And really, part of what's really driving them is sadism. What drove Hitler, basically, you could see by what people do, what drives them, and what was he? He was a sadist. And so these people, I mean, Obama caused just in one country alone, 400,000 deaths. You know what that means, 400,000 deaths? Had he not gotten involved in Syria, those people would be alive. I think 50 million refugees. That's just one country from the nut. So the point of the matter is that I think the reason people are actually buying into some of these nutcases is because they're desperate for change. But the thing is, you know, if I'm very thirsty and there are 5 bottles and one of them is poison and I just take a bottle, doesn't mean that I'm going to not, God forbid, kill myself. So the question, of course, is what is the mechanism? What is the solution? And the real solution I've come to realize, let me explain to you the problem. You'll understand why there's only one solution. And the problem is quite interesting. You see, and this is as Chief Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said, and this comes from very these secular historians, very brilliant people that went through the history of the world. And what happens is it's difficulty, like the Rambam says, that causes people to be conscious, aware. But likewise, it is the environments that they create, like was difficulty that created the founding fathers of America should create America. But the security that they create creates a sense of stupidity, because the irony is that the brain is like your computer. If it was lazy, it couldn't do anything for you. It's a machine. It never gets lazy. But if something gets lazy, then our tendency is not to try to deal with problems. We'd rather they just disappear. And so what do you do? Because if you make things good for people, they tend to get lazy and stupid. And if you make things bad for people, obviously, God forbid, if it's too bad, we can become quite cruel, but, we become protective and offensive in a defensive way. But so where's the balance? How do you get things right? And so the bottom line is every generation has one Mashiach, a savior, a prophet sent by God, and he has the clear message. And the Rebbe said very clearly, every generation has a mission. And our mission is to bring about the final redemption. We are the last generation of exile. The Mashiach will literally be here very soon. As God took us out of Egypt, the great miracles, they will appear very soon. And so our job then is to simply do more mitzvahs, more Torah. It's basically, I was speaking to a friend of mine today, and he said, it's all quite simple. Your soul is striving for truth and meaning, and you're too busy worried about what someone's going to say. And that's really, I think, the sum total of reality. So if you can just overcome that fear of fear, which really is just in the mind, it doesn't even exist. As the Rebbe says, these are just things like imaginations, which there are these negative forces that have certain access to the mind, and they just make you imagine that, oh, I'm going to do this, people are going to make fun of me. Actually, as one rabbi said, when you're young, you're worried about what people are going to say. Then you get to a point, you say, I don't care what people say. Then you realize, you know what, nobody was actually thinking about me in the first place. See, when you're loving, other people are loving you back, but they're only loving you back because you're creating a positive reaction in them. If you weren't loving, they wouldn't be interested. And so actually, you have nothing to worry about. You can just do what you believe is right, which basically is to bring the Mashiach to more good, more kindness, more Torah, more love. And that's it. If you do that, you manifest these positive changes, and you can be the one to bring the Mashiach for the world.